Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Interesting statement made by former President Donald Trump regarding Ukraine and how he could probably have avoided, in his mind, this whole world war that we're about to have. So that's a war clearly in Ukraine, fought between Russia and the, how you want to call it, collective West, United States and its weasels, NATO and weasels, United States and NATO and weasels, something like this. Mainly United States is the boss, the other ones around, they fight on the territory of the nation of Ukraine with Ukrainian leaders over there and whatever. It can escalate to reshuffling of a world's polarities, and who knows, maybe it can escalate to some nuclear war and we meet over there sitting on the bench waiting to see Jesus for the judgment day, okay? Which I will skip that one. I will just cut the line and go straight down. I'm not going to waste his time or everybody else's wait time, because I know where I'm going according to the scriptures. All right, so let's go on and see what's going on here. So this article comes from the Daily Beast. Ooh, these guys are good. I think that beautiful Clinton, what's her name, Chelsea Clinton, has something to do with the Daily Beast. Isn't she something over there? I don't know, like a great, fantastic owner, not owner, something over there. Fox News edits out Trump saying he might have let Russia take over parts of Ukraine. All right, so this is according to Daily Beast. They will never lie to us. March 7, 2023. And even if Fox News did that, I think they're weasels. But hey, maybe let's discuss this, okay? Let's discuss. He might have let Russia take over parts of Ukraine. All right? Now, this is the picture that I like. I always actually look at people's body language. Obviously, we look at that without wanting it. Or not wanting it, but not in a way of analyzing. I'm consciously analyzing body language and postures. And I can tell you here that this guy right here holds that shit over there. I saw him so many times holding that, or holding the armchair over there, the arm of the chair, so many times. I don't know what it is. It's a sign of I gotta hold on something, is too stressful here. There's the interpretation of that. You don't believe me? Well, I don't know, get some books, read a few of them and find out. And he's not relaxed at all. I mean, this is a game, what's going on here. I mean, yeah, these guys have to, intimidate the other ones and pretend. But this one, whenever you see, what's his name, Putin sitting at a table and holding the table, when they say, well, he's got cancer because he holds the table. I saw him so many times in interviews, holding the table like this with his hand, like this, and he talks like that, and with the hand, and what the hell is with that hand over there? I don't know what's over there. I know what's underneath, actually. That's one. And over here again, he holds this right over there, or sometimes this, holds this, like, I'm gonna go, don't hit me, something like that. Anyway, so let's go back to this article and see what these guys claim. Donald Trump has long insisted that the Ukraine war would have never happened if he were still president, going so far as to blame the rigged elections, unprovoked invasion on Russia's invasion, while claiming he had the magic words to stop the fighting immediately. During a radio interview with Fox News host and longtime confidant, I don't think Trump cares about this guy. Because if he cares, that means Trump is an idiot, and Trump is not an idiot. This guy is, no, he's not his confidant. They used one another. On Monday, the twice impeached, this is Daily Beast, whatever you want, the twice impeached, what about pussy grabber? Tell me, what other things you're gonna add over there? Ex-president. Finally revealed, this is a hatred person here. Justin Baragona, you don't... Anyway, if I would make a video really like this guy here and like really to believe in this, sometimes, I say this and that, I agree with that, I confess that, sometimes I'm called people name and all that, but this is like, you see that every little thing here is just, rigged, blame on rigged election, ex impeached, whatever. Revealed that he personally would have prevented the war, Trump said. According to Trump, all he needed to do was let, and I'm quoting, Russia take over parts of Ukraine. That's what he said, saying that Russia was going for the whole enchilada, with Joe Biden as president. Trump added that Russia took over nothing while he was in the White House because Russian President Vladimir Putin understood, and quote, that he would have never done it. Okay, so that means if I was over there, I would have let Putin take some parts of Ukraine and we would not have a war. All right, now let's see. And he says this, the former president then added, and I'm quoting, that's without any negotiating a deal. I could have negotiated at worst. I could have made a deal to take over something. There are certain areas that are Russian-speaking areas, frankly, but you could have worked a deal. Let me read this. I'm like a tard here. And I'm quoting Trump. That's without even negotiating a deal. I could have negotiated. At worst, I could have made a deal to take over something. There are certain areas that are Russian-speaking areas, frankly, but you could have made a deal. What's so hard, man? All right, later that evening, Hannity played excerpts of his exclusive interview with Trump on his primetime Fox News program, along with highlights of Trump's bombastic speech at the conservative blah, 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 blah. Though Hannity aired the segment featuring the ex-president boasting that he could have stopped the war, he curiously omitted the portion where Trump revealed his plan. Instead, shortly after Trump says, I could have negotiated, the audio quickly skips about 30 seconds of speaking time before picking up where the former president pivots to his complaint that China no longer respects the United States of America. Okay. All right, well, let's discuss this. If the recognized borders of a country, are as they are, the borders are as they are, okay, or the border, however you want to call it, then it's that country is independent and sovereign, okay. Now, if inside that country you have a national government that kills its own people or attacks its own people, like the Ukrainian army attacking the eastern side of Donbass. It was not the eastern side of Donbass who attacked Ukraine, correct? Can we agree with that? We agree to that? Okay, we can agree with that, that it was the Ukrainian military that went to Donbass to tell them, and the guy says no. So then they tried to pop, and they pop back, okay? So it was infighting. And people died, both sides. And then it was a time, when they stopped fighting and say, okay, it's the Minsk protocols. And the Minsk protocols were supposed to implement certain things. Those things were not implemented. And now we know that those things, according to Merkel, according to Poroshenko, the signatory, according to Hollande of France, they said, well, that was only to buy time for Ukraine to arm itself so it can militarily take over that thing. That's according to these guys. I covered that in two videos with two articles with some prankers that got them speaking like they're tards, really. All right, so that's it. Now, if these people kill their own people, I remember in Kosovo, it was a country who bombarded another country for killing some people over there of a different ethnicity. The Serbs killing the Albanians, remember that one? And then the Serbs were bombarded. Serbia was a sovereign country as well, and sovereign and independent as Ukraine. So if NATO did it in 1999, bombarded the sovereign country for some government killing some people inside the country, then I think here you can see that there are some, that's one thing. So that's what he's talking about, the Russian-speaking blah blah. Let's talk about something else. When was Crimea taken by Ukraine? Now, I know you could say, or I would say, wait a second. That was agreed 1991, the borders, and so on. Okay, I agree with that. But what happened in Crimea? Well, some people overthrew a legitimate government with outside agencies' help. Okay, that by definition is treason. They toppled the government in a coup with people were killed. Okay, and then that government recognized by some democratic countries all of a sudden. That was not recognized by these guys. Okay, in Crimea and in Donbass. And then these guys conducted referenda as Kosovo. But these guys are not accepted, their referenda. Okay, not accepted. All right, I'm not going to talk about Crimea being given to Ukraine in 1954 by, what's his name, Khrushchev. I'm not going to talk about Moldova and Bessarabia and the lower part and Bukovina taken by Stalin through an ultimatum from Romania in 1940. I'm not going to talk about given to Ukraine. I'm not going to talk the Transcarpathia taken from Hungary, given to Ukraine. I'm not going to talk about the western part of Ukraine taken from Poland, given to Ukraine by the Soviet Union. I'm not going to talk any of this, okay? Because in 1991 they all agreed that's the territory. All right, that's one. And if we respect someone's territorial integrity and sovereignty and independence, then the Americans certainly would respect Syria's military sovereignty and independence, and they would take their forces out that are over there illegally. But no, they claim we are over there because our national security is threatened. So we, assign the right to go over there and plant over there our military and take the oil in the meantime. Well, if you do that, then the Russians have the same reason, the same right to invade Ukraine, for its national security and for their safety, to invade that part over there, like these guys invaded Syria, right? ISIS is bad dudes, and we take the oil in the meantime and we kill the ISIS. But we killed the ISIS already, but somehow we remain over there with the Kurds now. So the same thing, Russia, for national security, can invade any country they want, as the United States did, for instance. Okay, let's put it aside. Now we go to another aspect, and this is the aspect of this. If, let's say, I have a scuffle with my neighbor, and let's say my child has a problem, let's say my toddler has a problem with his toddler. Could we end up, let's say my toddler poked his toddler in the eye, all right? And he comes here to talk to me and talk to him, and we escalate everything, that we use our bazookas from the basement and our tanks and airplanes, and we destroy everything in the neighborhood for a poke, because we couldn't figure out the poke. Instead of saying, you kid, apologize for that kid, and that's it. I don't want to apologize. Smack, apologize, and that's it. And, or the other one, I'm talking about something small could have been solved there with someone, even if that could have been seen maybe unfair, but instead of escalating to that. And I'm going to give you a historical example and evidence where it started from nothing. You can say, well, it started with that. Escalated to the First World War. Do you remember how the First World War started in Europe? It was the assassination of the Archduke Ferdinand, was it? Was killed in Sarajevo, if I remember correctly, by some people, okay? And after he was killed, then Austria-Hungary asked for an apology. This guy said, no, we're going to take this, and that's how it escalated. And then I have an alliance I declare war to you, I declare war to you. Now this guy was in an alliance, they had to declare war. These guys were in an alliance, they declared war. And that's how we had so many millions of people dead, nation destroyed, societies and so on. For what? You can say, well, for what? For two people. It was the Archduke Ferdinand, I think it was, right? And his wife, as sad, awful, horrible as that was, you would have 2 people dead versus the World War. Or was it worth it? Was it worth it? The same with this, with Ukraine. Let's put it this way. I'm not supporting, I'm just putting it in a perspective. I'm analyzing this. Donbass, where this guy says, well, the majority Russians, that, let's say, they would have be taken by the Russians. That versus what would come and what is right now. You can say, well, you don't give up things. I agree with that. I agree with that. This guy's point is only about that. You give them this and we don't have everything else. Right now, everything is upside down and it could escalate to something else. For what? From what? You can say, well, there's nothing. It's that. Okay, is that. I understand that if I would be over there, I would fight like crazy. Okay? For my nation, for my country, for my whatever. I understand that. But this was just an analysis, I think, of how Trump saw it. Not being warm, being cold. And you can say, well, the same thing right now. People make calculation. That's true. That's true. The fact that Hannity hit that, I expect him to hit that because that would have hurt some people's feelings who could not use their brain, and they would use pathos, not use their brain, they use pathos more than logos. Okay? And remember, it's like you go to the doctor and you have a splinter here in the finger or a little cut, and the doctor is going to take a hatchet and cut your whole arm. Solve the problem, but for that, or let's say, how you have gangrene, whatever, the infection, that then it expands, and sometimes they cut your finger and then it expands still there, and you cut a hand and then go over here, then No, if something you got here, I would go personally here and take it off, so make sure it doesn't go over. But no, they go little by little. Pop, pop, pop. Instead of, you know what, Emil, you're done. You got that. How about we cut from here? Yeah, I think you cut from here. So, again, maybe you say, well, maybe we can solve that. I wouldn't take a chance. Let's say if I have, and I hope I don't, let's say I have cancer to something, and they have cancer, and someone comes and tells me, the medic, we have to cut this, we're going to cut the minimum. No, you're going to cut the maximum that keeps me alive. That's what I want you to cut. I don't want you to cut the minimum, because every time I hear people with cancer, we're going to cut the minimum. No, you cut the maximum. If this is infected with cancer, I want you to cut this right here. I don't want you to cut only that. And if I'm gonna, the same with the organs inside, or you have this, we're gonna remove the tumor. We're gonna remove the tumor, like Arnold Schwarzenegger. No, we're gonna remove the tumor. Then I want you to remove everything as much as you can, not the minimum, as much as you can, and you keep me alive, or at least. And I'm not gonna regret. I'm gonna say, well, I tried. I mean, what? I couldn't take my heart out. So anyway, this is Trump. And by the way, Hannity, I never personally saw Hannity being someone who's extraordinary. I mean, he's good for one side, but I would not put him equal to what's his name, Tucker Carlson whatsoever. But anyway, we all play our roles because we want, or some other people tell them to play, or whatever. So anyway, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.